Claudette Chenevert with my wonderful co-host Sharona, and this is another episode of Conversations That Matter Most. And as you can see, today we're going to talk about summertime, taking a break from busyness. We decided to wear our sunglasses. Hi, Sharona!
Hi, Claudette. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm taking a break. Just gonna hang and be cool and have a conversation about, letting go of busyness in summertime. Glad to be here.
So, yes, welcome. If this is the first time you've joined us, this is a great episode to be here. We're going to be a little bit wacky, we're going to have fun, but we're also going to talk about important things about taking care of yourself, taking a break because, yes, it's summertime. Whether it's summertime or not, you can still take a break. So, just before we start, and if you've been here before, thank you. We really, really appreciate you. I mean, truly, we wouldn't be here if you weren't here, right? So let's just talk a little bit about why we started this, and so you understand where we're coming from. Sharona and I met last year, November, somewhere around there. And we were starting to have conversations, and we thought, this is really great. We love having these really deep, meaningful conversations, but it would be nice to share it with other people because one of the things we know is that not enough people are having those really deep, meaningful conversations where it gets you to think about, what is it you want out of life? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? And so we thought that it would be fun to share these conversations with you. And one of the things that's important to understand is that we're not looking for you to agree with what we're saying or to disagree, but it's mostly to get you started in having a conversation. And if you want one with us, we're more than happy. And you can always comment in the comment box below. So that is always an option. But we're not trying to have you think like us or to, think differently. We want you to have your own conversations, whether it's with us or with other people. And, we're always looking for topics or things you might want to talk with us, and let us know. So, to let you know who I am, I'm Claudette Chenevert, known as the Stepmom Coach. And I work with stepmoms who are struggling in their lives, trying to build a stronger, healthier relationship with their stepkids, their husband, and their family, and are finding it hard to find what it takes to come together to build a strong family. And part of what I do is I really I give education, we have some training, and I do coaching. And so if you're interested in knowing more about me, you can always go to my website, which is on my signature down there is stepmomcoach.com. And I want to talk I want to have Sharona share a little bit about what she does, because what she does is pretty awesome. And we complement one another very well. So, Sharona, I want to know, or let the people know, what is it that you do, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I want to know what I do too. What the heck do? Hi, everybody. I'm Sharona. Um, I am known as the MidLife Women's Dancing with Change Specialist, and I work with see, I was going to say stepmom. I work with, well, some of my midlife women are stepmoms and who are struggling with change in their life, be it in relationship shifts, career transitions, empty nest syndrome, new relationships, whatever. Or even a little bit how to deal with financials after things are being transformed and transitioned. And you know, I do, and what I do is I work with small cohorts or wisdom circles of people, of midlife women who not only do I lead through that, but they have each other to have a support, so we're not alone. And one thing I know for many of the midlife women that I deal with, they feel like they're isolated and alone, that they're having to go through midlife by themselves. So I personally believe in a ensemble or an entourage because because and then we have our little wisdom circle to help us move forward. And you can find me at www. I like to just say www dancingwithchange2thrive.com is my website, and so that's what I do.
Excellent.
There you
Nice.
go.
All right. So today we wanted to talk a little bit about, or a lot about, you know, busyness. You know, especially in summertime, there's this thing where, when we're super busy, we think it's a good thing to be busy all the time. And we want to talk a little bit about, some of the problems about being super busy, and what, taking a break can mean for you, and some of the benefits of taking a break. And so let's start with busyness. Why is it that, we feel, and maybe Sharona, you can help me out here, is why is it that we feel we need to be busy all the time to fill in the void in our lives? Do you ever see that with the midlife women you work with?
Yeah, and I do, Claudette, and I also I I think it goes back to our childhood, and I think two things tie into that. One is in our childhood, we were not allowed to just. I remember as a teenager, I was not. I remember we're not allowed just to sit and hang out, and we always have to be doing something. And then the other thing I think ties into that is, and this is again, is this thing about laziness.
Mm.
There's something about us, laziness, and then the other one I just came into my head. This whole thing, living life to your full potential. For somehow we created this thing that, I got to live life fully means that I got to be constantly doing something every minute of the day. And then the fourth thing that just popped into my house, I think a lot of us are afraid of not being productive.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think those are the four things that popped into my head. Could be other things, but that's what came to me as you asked that question.
Yeah, I mean, and I liked what you mentioned about, being lazy. It's true that, there's a generation, and we're sort of close in that generation, where doing nothing equals being lazy. And I think this is a big, big mistake, where whenever we sit there and are apparently doing nothing, people think we're lazy. And there's this study I read about how our brain functions in terms of remembering and processing stuff. And one of the things that I remember in the study was that, when you're giving a break from your brain, it allows it to process and connect the dots inside your brain of other past experiences, so that you can, one, remember better when you re-encounter that same event or similar circumstances. And two, it's to process it in a way that you're able to think about it critically and come up with solutions. And one of the things I know is, and I think it's safe to say that we've all experienced this at some point, was, when you're taking a shower or you're driving a car, all of a sudden, all these ideas are flooding inside of you, right?
Right.
And I know I often say, I wish I had this huge whiteboard in my shower so I could write all these ideas, or some way of recording in the car, like writing in a car, so that I could remember all of this. But I think it's like it's something to notice that taking a break does not equal being lazy. So what are your thoughts on this, Sharona?
And you know what? That's one of the things I find too is that you know what? There's this whole thing about laziness and slothness, when I hear that, I cringe because I go, well, aren't we allowed to take a break? Aren't we allowed to have a respite from our life? And I think that's what, and you know what? The other thing I just realized, there was a study done that I'm not sure of the percentage, but I know it was more than 50% of workers never take their vacation.
That's terrible. That's
And
really
I thought to myself, why is that? And you know what? Who knows why? But to me, you need a respite. Now, some of us can't afford to be on vacation, so that's why I have when I. It's so amazing when I many midlife women and younger women even, I would ask them, about doing things, and they would say, well, I have no time in the day. I go, really? You have no time? Not even when you're in the bathroom to just, and they said, no, I have no time. I go, you cannot take 5 minutes out of your day to just breathe. Just breathe, daydream for 5 minutes. And I go, no, no, no. And then I realize most of them do have the time, but what they're doing is they're not using, it's not the time they're not using effectively, it's their energy. And they're not using when to use, what to do when the energy is high and low.
Yeah. And one of the things that when you're saying this is that a lot of times people will use busyness to avoid things, to avoid problems, to
Yeah.
avoid their feelings, to avoid their emotions. It's an avoidance tactic.
Right. So if you really look at this, it's like you either have procrastination or busyness. And I remember, I think that's part of, it's the same spectrum, because what it is it's a fear of whatever underlying it. So you either don't want to do whatever the task you need to do or what needs to be done because of whatever fear, or you find other things to be busy with so that way you don't have to do what you need to do or whatever. And I think in the I'm in with your younger step parents, there's this thing to fill the children now with having many, many, many things doing. They just can't play. They've got all this structured playtime. And I'm thinking, what is that going to create as, and they are now coming into life, is how do they take their breaks? How do they learn to take a break from their life?
And the other thing that, as you're mentioning about, keeping kids super busy, a lot of times, not well, and in some situations, being busy, creates other issues. Like for the kids, keeping them super busy well, they have a sense of overwhelm. And especially with kids, when we keep them super structured and super busy and they have no free time, what happens is they learn to avoid fear boredom. And I actually read something a while back that in boredom, being bored is where creativity is born. And so we're stifling our younger generation from being creative by the fear of having them bored by keeping them super busy.
Yeah, yeah. And I think maybe that also taps into as we grow older and midlife women, that we sometimes we're busy because maybe we don't want to be by ourselves. And we just go, well, I might as well do something now because I don't want to be standing in my own head and I don't know, so um so I personally, I think one of the things is that we need to give ourselves permission to take a break when we need to.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be a big to do. I one of my mottos is take on at least 1 hour a day, and you can break it up, of doing nothing, just doing nothing. And that could, and when I say it's a, or doing nothing, and that does not, and so doing nothing doesn't mean you're going to do a chore, you're not going to, right, it's just doing nothing. And again, many of the midlife women that I worked with, when I told them that, I go, I go, again, you cannot find an hour in your day, and you could break it up, 10-minute increments. So, find the time every day to get a respite from the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be a ritual before you go to bed. It could be a ritual before somewhere in the middle of the day. But find the time. Make the time for you. That's what I think. Make the time for you.
Yeah. And and I'd love to talk about, the benefits of taking a break. So maybe it'll help people understand it better in why it's important. And so some of the reasons in taking a break is that, especially if you are an emotional eater, you know, eating out of emotion, sometimes keeping busy brings up emotions that you're trying to stuff down with food. So if you're an emotional eater or someone who stuffs their emotion, you know, keeping busy is not going to help you. But taking a break, and as Sharona said, just sit. Like, one of the things I enjoy doing is going to a park outside and sit and watch people. Just watch them. There's no phone, there's no books, there's not, just watch people and clear your head out of any thoughts or judgments or comments that may come up there, and just be an observer, a quiet observer, a fly on the wall, if you wish, and watch what happens. And there's a sense of calmness that can come over you by doing this. So and it'll help you to calm yourself. In especially if you're in nature. Nature has a tendency to help us, or it could be the beach. Wherever you are, if you could be in nature, in the forest, in the park, on the beach, somewhere where it's nice and calm, it will really help to deal with some of the emotions that are coming up. And if you happen to cry, that's perfectly okay. Bring a box of Kleenex and cry. No one's gonna bother you. And if they do, it's probably because they care.
I like that. Yeah, nature. And if you're in the urban setting, There's always a tree somewhere. And so yeah, going out in nature is a great way. Getting some sunshine. So of course, in the summer, make sure you're UV protected and all that. But out in nature is very important. The other thing I think I like to talk about is, if you can't do that, breathing and meditation, even for 5 minutes, really helps calm everything down. And the reason why you want to calm everything down, and this is one of chemically, when you're running on fumes, as I say, or adrenaline, or whatever you want to call it, what that does is it triggers the cortisol, and that is a stress hormone. And what happens is that starts doing things to the body that isn't healthy. Also, the brain needs a break. It's collecting information every second. So the thinking brain needs a break. It just needs to, like I said, I need to get out of my own head sometimes. Um, and meditation, again, doesn't have to be a big deal. Just sit and ground yourself, get your feet on the ground, in a chair, and just breathe. And here's I could not figure out how to meditate for years. I'm going to be honest. Everybody was doing this cross-legged thing and doing it, and it's like, ugh. So we had this guy come in, and he actually works with at-risk youth. And they have found, there's been many studies found, that giving youth, not just at-risk youth, but youth themselves, in school, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of quiet meditation time, it changes everything. It helps them bring everything down and not feel so overwhelmed. So what what this instructor said is, all you have to do is sit and close your eyes and for 5 minutes. Put a timer on. He goes, now, if your thoughts in your head, they're not going to go away. Because I kept thinking, oh, I have to have no thought. No, they're not going to go away. But what he does is, to help counteract that, is you count in for 5, hold for 2, count out for 5, hold for 2. And what happens is the breath and everything, and then your brain has something to do. It's counting. And if a thought comes in, you go, oh, okay, I'm just counting. You can have that thought over there. Don't need to listen to it. So those are just some. So meditation. So from then on, I have been doing my little meditations every, even 5 minutes in the afternoon, just to calm everything down.
I love that. Yeah, and it's something that you can actually do just about anywhere, especially just the breathing part. Even while you're driving, you can breathe. Don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes if you're driving, but you can definitely breathe and drive. And you and even sit. Put your sit bone firmly planted in the car seat, and your feet, one on the gas pedal or the brake if you need to, but the other foot can be on the floor. And there you can bring your shoulders down, right? So your shoulders are down, but you can breathe, whether in your car, and you could do it in a meeting. If you have to do it while in a meeting, you can do that in a meeting. You can do that anywhere. Breathing is one of the easiest and most accessible thing you can do. Well, actually, if you're not breathing, then we're having a problem.
Right.
So let's just put it out there. But some of the things it'll do is it'll help with your creativity as well. Some of the masterpieces and some of the brightest people that we know of do take breaks. I think it was Einstein who would go and take walks in the middle of the afternoon near the river and just take a break and walk away to be by himself. And that's when he had some of his most brilliant moments.
Yeah.
So we need to get away from thinking that being busy is the key to success and happiness. because filling the void of all our seconds in our life isn't going to work, isn't going to make you happier, more successful, more creative. It actually, stifles all of it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And again, there's other things that you can do to take a break. As a kinesthetic person, I like to be active. So what I find is sometimes putting on very gentle music and doing like my version of Tai Chi. I don't know. I'm just moving, but my body's now involved and focusing on that. I also do very a version of a Sharona yoga because again I didn't. But again, it's so again you can have that sense of being busy, but then moving the body very gently also will help get out of the brain. And I personally believe in daydreaming. I personally believe just take your cup of tea or coffee in the morning or in the afternoon and go outside and give yourself a 15-minute break staring into nothingness. Just staring into nothingness. Um, so anyway, yeah, I personally believe in taking breaks from your busy day. And again, look at your energy level. Instead of going for that 10th cup of coffee, maybe it's your body's telling you you need to relax for a moment. So that's that. I don't. Anything else you want to add, Claudette?
I would say one of the things to add in here, and it's summertime, you know, find something funny to laugh at. Just be silly. Just like when we put on our sunglasses when we started, just be silly, laugh a little. It really makes a difference in your energy, your creativity. Find something to laugh. You don't have to be serious all the time. Just
Yeah.
and laugh about whatever. Find something to laugh about.
And play, laugh and play, play. Yeah, play, and not well, maybe I still like to find a adult kickball club because I think playing kickball would be just a hell of a lot of fun because I don't have you don't need any skill. You just got to kick a ball. But I think that would be fun, right?
Yeah,
Um,
as long as you're
so
not kicking someone else.
no, kicking the ball, just kicking the ball. You run the bases like baseball, but it's like, whoa, we don't have to be athletic with that. Um, but that's, but see, finding that kind of, that silliness,
Yeah.
I agree with you, is important. There's a lot on YouTube to find silly. What is it about cat videos? I don't know. They just crack me up. But, find the things that make you laugh. And then, yeah.
So, as we wrap up for today, we want you to think a little bit about, why is it that you're staying busy? What are some of the reasons you're overfilling your day? And pick one, maybe two things that you can do to, break your day up from being overwhelmingly too busy. Sharona, would you like to add something to this and then let us know how we can reach you?
Yeah, and I agree, Claudette. I find some, I think asking that question, why do I feel I need to fill every moment of my day? And what is it giving me? And what is it taking away from me? And then, come up with a strategy of how to take um, breaks throughout the day. Maybe delegating. Um, and then um, and then also, if you come up with some ideas, post them in the comments below because that would help other stepmoms and midlife women maybe get inspired to say, I'm going to try that. And let me see if that works for me. So comment below. And you can reach me, Sharona, at dancingwithchange2thrive.com. And again, my website is www.dancingwithchange.com. You can find me on social media with hashtag Midlife Women Dancing with Change. And if you're having a challenge with figuring out how to structure your day so it's not so overwhelming and you're not so busy and that you can take a break, or any other struggle that you're having with, please contact me. I would love to hear from you. And Claudette, how can stepmoms reach you?
So, if you're a stepmom and you're feeling like you have no time or no free time in your home or your life, I'd be happy to help you. We would strategize together. We would look at what you're doing right now, and and I know what Sharona said about delegating. Sometimes as women, we tend to take on more than belongs to us. So, I'd be happy to talk with you about that. And if you're interested in having that conversation with me, just go to my website, which is stepmomcoach.com. Again, just like Sharona, if you want to reach me, you look for hashtag stepmomcoach, and sign up for my stepmom wisdom tips, which are exclusive to the members on my list. So if you want to sign up for that, every week, every Wednesday, I send out a wisdom tip to help you move forward in your family and in your life. And like Sharona said, if you have any comments or anything you'd like to share with us, do so in the comments below. That would be great. And we would love to see you and hear from you. So we just had another great episode on conversations that matter most. And we look forward to seeing you again very soon. So, Sharona, see you
Bye.
soon.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Bye. Take care.